Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another fun episode 48 of the Drunken Under Quarantine Show. As always, I am here with Collen, Doyle, GW Foley, and tonight we welcome back the very funny chef, artist, VCO original, Mr. Ryan Kenyon, and we have a whole lot to talk about. Let's get it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Drunken Under Quarantine Show, presented to you by the Woolen Comedy Club. Of course, I am Hickory, the Drunken Underwhelming. As always, I'm here with GW Foley, Collen, Doyle, and our very special guest, Ryan Kenyon. We got a lot to get into tonight. We're going to be talking about Cinnamon Toast Crunch Shrimp. We're going to be talking about our youthful crushes. We will be talking about, of course, the incident going on in the Suez Canal, which hopefully has been cleared up and is good by now. And we're going to be talking about vaccine passports, just to name a few. But without further ado, I will welcome to the spotlight stage my very good friend and loyal co-host, welcoming Mr. GW Foley. Oh.
Hey! Yay! Yeah! Woo! Whoa! Party in the screen! Party in the screen! What? Party in the screen! Oh! Yes, it is I, GW Foley, and it's the second week of me eating healthier, which is, I don't know. I don't feel any different. I still look fat, so I'm thinking about giving it up. This whole thing that takes time is bullshit. Like, I should be able to have one salad and just get skinnier. But the fun thing that happened was, hold on. Yes, Pierre, I am wearing pants, unfortunately. Yeah, but they're sweatpants, so I don't know if that counts. Like, they're not real pants. So I did have a fun thing that happened to me after eating a bunch of cottage cheese and peas. And I went to take a shit, and I dropped the biggest shit of my life. It was very impressive. It was a nice protein shit, so it was hard. So I wish I had like the handicap style grunt bars, like just so I could push it out. Maybe put my feet up on some stirrups. But that thing must have weighed a pound. Like it was thick. It was thick, bro. Just the way I like them. And I love the fact that people are commenting about my sweatpants. That's beautiful. I don't have the dick for gray sweatpants. Sorry. I wish I did. Like even if I had an average sized penis, like I would definitely be like, yeah, check out my. I don't even have to do anything. The comments are taking up all my time. Yes, I did try to get my girlfriend to look at it, and like she was in the bedroom, and I got out, and I was so excited about it that I ran out, and I was like, "You have to look at this deuce," and she was like, "No, I do not." I'm like, well, what if it was our child? You know, like our child had a shit that big. Wouldn't you want to look at it? And she's like, no, I don't. Our child being our dog Oscar, because Daddy got his tubes tied with a vasectomy. and cannot have children, fortunately. Like I think that's a good thing for the world, me having a vasectomy, because no one wants a little me running around. I've come to realize that like there's only one GW Foley, and he should die an honorable death and not have like some kid fuck up his legacy, like Sean Lennon. Like John Lennon should have never had kids, especially Julian. Like he's fucked up music enough and tried to live in his father's footsteps. Let's yeah, sorry, I keep reading the comments. The advice I gave to Kevin McTaggart is don't read the comments, and I'm failing to do that. And I want to say also, going back to the whole Deuce thing, you know what's really fun? Much like corn, peas don't really digest that well in the system. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but peas do kind of the same thing where like you shoot them out, it's like little pew 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 pellets, like you were at an airsoft rifle in your asshole. So that was fun. I also had some of those in the Massive Deuce. So it went from like having the Starship cruiser drop down at my ass, and then a bunch of TIE fighters following it, like foo 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 foo. I've changed sodas. I'm no longer drinking Coca-Cola, not for any political reasons, other than it's too much sugar for me. I've gone now to Zevia Cherry Cola, which really masks the taste of my rum and make it like you would think this is just a giant glass of rum, but no, it's rum and Coke with cherry flavor, and it's amazing because the Zevia is so overpowered that like I can't even taste rum. Like I'm gonna have to add more rum next time and get drunker. Which, by the way, if anyone saw the last show, I got a couple comments offline of saying, "Holy shit, you were loud," and that's because I was drunk. So, cheers. Let's make it 2 in a row. That's it for my time. Let's turn it over to Collen and see how he's doing with the week.
Hey! How are you doing tonight? Happy episode 48. 48's always my favorite episode. Yeah, feeling good. Excited to see Swing 46 Jazz Club in New York City is opening back up April 1st. Excited to see New York getting back on its feet. Comedy coming back in the city, April. Growing up, you always heard there are two things that you stay away from for good conversation, right? Politics and religion, right? You don't talk about politics and religion. But now we talk about politics and religion a lot. And I would add a third thing that if you're looking to have good conversation, don't bring into the topics. And that would be politics, religion, and guns. Right? Because similar to politics and religion, people's stance on guns is not going to change. It's unwavered. If someone's pro-guns and feels strongly about guns, they feel that way. If someone's anti-guns and feels strongly that they don't like guns, they feel that way. And it's very difficult for people to meet in the middle, I think, on that, because they really don't change their stance. I myself am someone that as Bernie Sanders often says, is what he likes to call common sense gun policy. And I think that that's an applicable one. You know, you look at the use of guns in the country versus the use in the cities and all that things, and then try to help. I think we can try to do some gun policy. I mean, I think that it's the constant bombardment of all of this is just insane. You know, I've gotten to a point where my mental health, I try to just say, let me get a cup of coffee down before you tell me how many people just died in a random shooting. That's a lunch conversation. I can't have that over breakfast. You know what I mean? Let's put it off a little bit later in the day. You know, I'm no say psychiatrist, but I would say refrain from reading this terrible news first thing in the morning. The thing that I've always found so interesting about the gun thing in this country is it seems to be the very same people who are so quick to tell you how great this country is are the same people who tell you we might have to kill the entire government. It's a great country. Got a great country. However, might have to murder all the politicians and start from scratch. I think that's a far stretch from it. I myself like to think that we have the ability to defend ourselves as citizens. I just don't think that's true. The belief of saying that the Second Amendment is going to help us to defend ourselves from the government, as people may have interpreted the Constitution. There's no way the citizens of America are going to, quote unquote, defend themselves. I don't care if all of us had tanks and planes and things that we could take to the ocean. I'm reminded of in The Aviator, Howard Hughes goes against the senator from Maine. And he says to Howard Hughes, there's all the money in the world. And he looks at him, he says, I'll see you in court. And the senator looks at him, he says, we just kicked the shit out of Japan and Germany. Who the fuck are you? Right? We'll take a country like North Korea, for instance, that all their fucking ambition is in life is just to destroy this government. And they spend 100% of GDP on a mission to try to kill Americans. And even this country is like, all right, North Korea, we hear you. You got to kill us all. Yeah, right. We're shaking on our little boots over here. Because like Trump said, little rocket man. And somehow we haven't heard from Little Rocket Man. I don't know. But I would say to anybody who thinks that it is you and an AR-15 versus the United States government, I would say you don't stand a fucking chance in hell. I'm gonna have to say some people at home aren't gonna like what I have to say on this, but roll over, play dead, Spotty, because but there's no way. Saddam Hussein thought he had a pretty good thing going. We don't know where that guy is anymore. Bin Laden thought he was shacked up in the side of a cave. He's fucking gone. I don't know if you saw that movie called Captain Phillips. Those guys thought they were taking over the boat. All four of them shot in the head simultaneously from Navy SEALs on the top of a boat in the middle of the ocean. So I hate to burst anybody's bubble, but if you want to pick a fight with the United States government, Vegas odds is 100-1. It ain't gonna work in your favor. I think, with me, I think we can find a happy medium. I don't think that very mentally disturbed people should probably be able to purchase guns as easily as they can right now. I love the episode of Simpsons from way back, and Homer goes to buy a gun, and he walks in and he says, "Excuse me, sir, could I get one gun, please?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, sure, right here." He's like, "Fill out the form." And he's like, "All right, that'll be 72 hours. And Homer's like, "If I had that gun, I'd shoot you right now." Like, "But you don't, sir, so you're going to have to wait 72 hours. Yeah, it's just the Simpsons nailing it, from day one. It's like if I want a cell phone, they gotta know everything about me. So I think that obviously we're not going to change a lot in this culture, but so I think it's an extreme thing for people to think that we're going to go from more guns on the earth, in anywhere on the earth, than to having like none. Like, I don't think that that's ever going to happen. You know what I mean? And I think at best you might be able to see a small, slow the consumption on it. But at this point, the consumption's never really slowed, and we still average 10 to 20 million gun sales a year annually. And that number really doesn't, goes up, goes down, depending on policies. You see a lot of gun sales during when Democrats are in office, you probably could see more now just because, again, there's more talk about a ban that probably will never happen. So every time we have this conversation, it actually works in the opposite way of what, if people think that this is going to slow gun sales, it doesn't. That's how I feel about that, I think, too, the other thing is in America, right, like violence is sexy, Violence is sexy. Shooting things is sexy. This is what we do, here. You know what I mean? It's like we're superstars, we're the superheroes, the war films, all the things. And, and again, I hate to say it, but who made violence sexy? The Italians. I mean, they came in, they said they were going to break your legs, and they meant it. They said it with conviction, and came off with a certain level of class. I think only Italians could have done that. I don't think the French would have been able to be as glamorous with that, or people might not have taken them as serious, like, oh, this is the problem. I tell you, you get me the money or I break boss all your bones. Like, you say you're going to break my bone? What did you? Break all the bones. It sounds like some type of hot swing song. But that's my week in reflection. I'm glad to hear GW's living healthier. I can't imagine that was much of a step, GW.
It wasn't.
But without further ado, we'll talk about bring it back to the man who brings us here every week, Hickory the Drunk and Underwhelming.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen, for being here. And today, there's no surprises. We've done the past few shows. We're going to do a little card trick. And, Brian, I'm going to start by asking you to select a value of a card.
Value?
Yeah, not a suit or literally anything through 2 through ace. Just a...
Okay, 9.
Okay, 9s. We're doing 9s. Okay. Normally, I would select 4 random cards, but instead I had you select the 4 random cards for me. So we're going to do a little something with the 4 9s. It's nice to see that, all 4 of those 9s are actually in this pack. And I will, to be fair, a quick little showing that, all the cards are the same on this side. And, they're all different on this side. Okay, so... now that we got that, what we're going to do is I'm going to take these 4 cards, right? And what we're going to do is I'm going to take them and I'm going to stick them into my card case. Okay, 4 9s. So we got a grand total of 36, right? No, that's... what I'm going to do next is hopefully my camera is going to come back into focus. And I'm going to ask you, Ryan, would you prefer the 2 red cards or the 2 black cards?
Oh, my God. The 2 red.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the magic with the 2 red cards. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wand as soon as I find it. Okay. I'm going to have a little tap on the box and a little tap on the cards. And what I just did there was I have taken the 2 red cards out of this card box and put them back into the deck right in front of you. So you'll see. Just make sure nothing else in there. 2 cards in the box. The 2 black 9s. Okay, you ready? I'm gonna try it. I'm not taking this off camera, so there's no way for me to cheat here. What we're gonna do is not only are the 2 red 9s in the deck,
Stop.
they are face up in the center. Thank you, guys. I wanted to keep it short so we have plenty of time for Ryan
to
work
God.
Whatever type of magic he wants to work on the show. Because So without further ado, welcoming to our spotlight stage our very, very special guest, a funny man, a chef, comedian, and VCO original. Welcoming to our spotlight stage, Mr. Ryan Kenyon.
Woo!
Hey!
Whoa.
How did you do that?
It's magic.
that made me- you're so good at this magic. It just made me sick to my stomach because I knew I was like, oh, like what? The cards are going to show up right in the deck. I knew that, and the fuck. That's all I can say.
It's all in the wand handling skills.
Oh man, I love the new format. I love the new intro to the show here. That's great.
Thank you.
I loved it. I was expecting it to say Spike Lee presents at the beginning. Spike Lee presents the Drunk and Under Quarantine show. I love that. God, I love that. You guys are doing good. You guys are looking happy and healthy. You're in New York, Collen?
I'm in Vermont right now.
You're in Vermont. You're in Bridgewater.
I am.
Lovely studio there. GW is behind a brick wall.
Yeah. He lives in a brick house.
Kyle's in
I am a brick house.
his magic room there, and I look like I'm at Turning Point Center of Rutland here.
You look like you're wrapped up in bed sheets.
Well, you know, COVID hasn't got me yet, but the opiates have.
Are you broadcasting from your bed right now?
What's that?
Are you broadcasting from your bed, Ryan? Is the camera on the ceiling?
Yeah. Just chilling in bed right now. It's way past my bedtime right now. Speaking of bed, I wanted to share some exciting news with you guys. It's true. Following in the footsteps of Collen and revisiting something that GW and I have done in the past, I want to announce that I will be in a Wendell's Furniture commercial.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, I got the role of sleeping husband. Because there are only 3 characters that I can play. There's guy with indigestion, dad with indigestion, and sleeping husband. I knocked that one right out of the park. I went in method too. I had indigestion, and it was a quick shoot. But yeah, no, it'll be fun. It was a fun shoot. I was glad to do it. All I had to do was just pretend to sleep, and excited to share that when that comes out soon.
I'm so excited for you, buddy.
Congratulations. That's right in your wheelhouse.
I know. Like, how well can you sleep? I'm like, well, I can do it right now. Let's do it.
It's on brand.
But I'm happy to be here. Happy to see you guys.
It's good to have you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you, Ryan. So my niece was in a Let's Grow Kids commercial for the state of Vermont. So find out she's on TV. And, Uncle Agent Collen's going, where's the check?
Yeah.
Right? She might be 2, but, I'm sure she's got things she wants to spend the money on.
Yeah, for sure.
But then I got a text from her father. He says, well, turns out you're not the only person starring in commercials anymore.
I remember when GW and we did the 6 Below thing.
Oh yeah.
How uncomfortable that was because they changed the script and didn't even tell us. And then Pete, I can't think of his last name off the top of my head. Pete Baez.
Yeah.
How he just went from cool guy to as soon as the camera rolled, he's yelling at us, and I'm like, what is going on here? I thought we were cool.
I didn't realize we were rolling.
No. Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have more, Ryan? Or are we moving right?
No, that's it. Let's get going.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize there.
No, I'm sorry. The warden's coming back here soon to tuck me in before.
Oh, well, thank you, everybody.
Give me my midnight meds.
Thank you guys for joining us. We are, of course, on the Drunken Under Quarantine show here with Ryan Kenyon. This is going to be a fun one. I've been looking forward to this. We're going to get right into the Zoxo portion, and the very first question, since you've already taken the liberty of asking us, Ryan, is how have you been, Mr. Kenyon? It's been a while since we've talked to you, and how's Corona time treating you? Is life getting better, getting worse?
You know, I wish I could say, other than, you know, doing the Wendell's thing, I mean, really not much has been going on. I mean, I'm still working. I'm still getting yelled at by Tom Sizemore's brother at work, you know? So I wish I could say it was more exciting, but that's about it. I just show up and he yells at me. It's that Sizemore energy.
Asking for cocaine afterwards.
Yeah, right? Is it for you or your brother?
Why does like one of you guys get a discount? What's the?
Yeah, I'd say.
I know what my brother's been saying all along, and he's been getting me screwed here.
Yeah. I'd say Tom would get the bigger discount. But yeah, I mean, I've been good. I've been staying healthy. I've lost 80 pounds since April, so I'm happy. I'm here. GW's going the health route. I quit smoking cigarettes, so hit the gym. So
awesome.
We'll be changing the name of the show to fucking Hickory, the fucking everyone's in great shape and healthy show.
Yeah. The health nuts. The health nut hour.
Like Hickory, the swollen under pharmaceutical assessment show. That one's I'm going to be starting in a couple of years once I, make the dive.
I've wanted to ask my doctor about HGH and see what happens.
Hey, before you shoot me with that vaccine, shoot me in the ass, would you?
It's like
give daddy a little taste.
Not a heavy dose, just a little bit, Doc.
Can I take Johnson & Johnson and steroids?
Oh, that sounds like a great cocktail.
Yeah, fuck you, COVID. Suck on that.
Yeah, I want high T syndrome. That's what I'm looking for. Better living through pharmaceutical assistant.
Dude, so I went on T for a little while, and I was really disappointed with the results. Like,
but you had gel T, right? Not intramuscular.
Yeah, no, not the intermuscular. I wish, because the gel T. First off, if you wear shirts, it's totally fucking pointless because it'll rub off on your goddamn shirt, and then your fucking spouse doesn't want to touch you because she doesn't want testosterone. And quite frankly, I don't want her to have testosterone. She already has a bigger dick than I do.
Oh, that must be true for all the wives of the show. Yeah. I completely unrelated. We're not going to bring it up, but I just saw that they're concluding a male birth control testing over in the UK soon, and the male birth control is literally a specific type of really suppressive steroid in low dose along with testosterone, and it's a gel. And this article is hysterical. The guy was all like, "Oh, it's great," and I like. My lady doesn't have to worry about taking anything, so we don't have to have kids. He's like, it really adds the spontaneity, other than the fact that I have to take a 30-minute shower and scrub the shit out of my shoulders before we make love because she doesn't want her voice to drop.
I figured that at this point in science, they would have figured out something better other than a fucking topical gel.
Yeah, for real.
Yep.
Like, what if it rains and a squirrel runs underneath me at the same point that it's raining? Like, do we really want to give squirrels fucking testosterone?
Well, it's like the guys who are inventing this stuff also run a tanning bed, They're like, you just put this on, it's also tan enhancer, it's SPF 4, and your fucking balls. Forget about it, kid. You're going to be shooting blanks per month. Hit them with some ultraviolet light as well. Done. All right?
I feel like that's a great origin story for some type of superhero. I was feeling a little low, so I put like 3 times my T-dose on my shoulders, and then I went outside. It was raining, and the squirrel got like 600 mgs of testosterone on him, and now he's Squirrel Man.
The thing you guys are telling me,
heart attack.
If I had this stuff, I didn't know that you're supposed to put it on your shoulders. My thought was I would smear it all over my balls. So in that case, I might really have ended up like Squirrel Man. You know?
Your secret's safe with us.
The owner of the most giant nuts. Let's see. Back in the comments, Dwayne's just been commenting in. He had said we should become trans, do UFC, and then do HGH.
I think there's something wrong with that order.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to do the HGH first. And then I also said, F that, she can't get pregnant in her throat. Which is a very true statement. We're going to move right into the next subject unless you guys want to continue talking about steroids.
We'll come back around.
Okay, we will come back.
I'm sure it'll pop up again.
Yeah, well, as the infamous press secretary says, we'll circle back on that one. Too soon. We're going to talk about Cinnamon Toast Crunch shrimp. And so this was a story that broke, I think it was right like after the show last week, either that or like early Tuesday morning. And so basically the backstory is, for those not aware, and I'm sure most people watching are, is that a man found shrimp tails in a Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the internet exploded. As you can see in the photo here, that very clearly looks like a shrimp tail coated in, Cinnamon Toast Crunch powder. And there's another photo. There's just a thing. I'll start by asking you guys saw this one, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this story went pretty viral. What was your initial reaction, G-Dubs? Did you think
it's this shit for fucking shell food? So I can imagine me eating that and then all of a sudden like getting into a fucking anaphylactic shock and dying because of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
It's a terrifying premise. Of all the things to die for, breakfast cereal isn't one of them. Collen, what did you think when you saw this story?
Well, my first thought was, shouldn't the shrimp shucking line be a lot farther than the cinnamon toast packaging line? Like, how are these two things coming in? Was it someone who ate a shrimp during lunch and says, fuck it, throws the shrimp tails in there? Is somehow Cinnamon Toast Crunch being packaged in some type of Thai or Philippine factory that we don't know about that's also producing shrimp? Maybe. But as we'll talk about later, I think that, as Bob Ross would say, happy little accident.
Ryan, what did you think about when you saw this story?
I mean, being a fan of surf and turf, I thought that everything was okay. I think that's an acceptable thing to happen. Usually have it for dinner, but for breakfast, I mean, that sparked a new idea in my head. So I'm going to start having shrimp and cereal myself. But it just reminded me of, those old like cereal commercials where they'd be like, oh, like, oops, all like peanut butter. Like, oh, somebody pulled the peanut butter lever and it's all peanut butter. The same thing happened. Like the Keebler elves were pulling levers and then shrimp fell into the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. No big deal.
I can just see it from like an office staff party where they had a shrimp cocktail platter and just, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta watch the line, but give me a whole handful of shrimps.
Right?
Shrimps, starts eating them and like, just hucks them.
Yeah. Times are tough. I remember getting like baseball cards and like decoder rings and stuff. Now it's just like shrimp tails.
What's so perplexing about this story, to me, is that the shrimp tail somehow resembles French Cinnamon Toast Crunch wafer, cookie. I mean, had that have been any other shellfish, had that have been an oyster shell or a scallop shell, it would have looked like, what is this, a seashell in this? Why is there a seashell in my cereal? But somehow, someone along the way, I almost wonder if this wasn't just a little bit of a fuck you, whoever gets this bag, you're going to eat some shrimp tail. And the amount of shrimp that I've ate over my life, I don't know if I've ever directly consumed shrimp tails. I feel like I've probably ate 20 to 30 of them in my life. without even knowing just the amount of Thai food I've eaten. So my initial thought was like, if I ate a shrimp tail and it was cinnamon toasted,
Yeah, nothing in the world.
The only problem with that is it's unrefrigerated shrimp. Like we've all gone to the beach and smelled fucking rotten seafood.
Well, maybe it was froze dried first, you know.
But in the defense, GW, it's coated in a delicious cinnamon sugary capsule.
I'm not saying I wouldn't suck on it.
Well, I would pair that with a little cocktail sauce, and almost just a little cocktail sauce with a little bit of a quick shrimp tail crisp. I think that'd be nice.
And this came from so Jensen Karp is the name of the guy who broke this. He's a comedian and producer and writer and does some other stuff out in Cali. But he says that Cinnamon Toast Crunch swears, "Why are these shrimp tails in my cereal?" Parentheses, this is not a bit, indicating that he's not just trying to make a joke. General Mills subsequently denied it. They said that this was, they thought that possibly it was they reported the incident to quality control. They also said that they thought this, in fact, was just bits. Yeah, right here. After further investigation with our team that closely examined the image, it appears to be an accumulation of the cinnamon sugar that sometimes can occur when ingredients are thoroughly blended. We assure you there's no possibility of cross-contamination with shrimp, but it just looks so much like a shrimp tail, and I don't know.
That was indeed not shrimp tail. It was sugar.
That's what General Mills is saying, but of course that's what General Mills is saying, because they don't really want to eat a lawsuit.
This is a complicated process. You people don't understand. When the sugar comes out, it comes out as shrimp tails. Okay.
Yeah. All you gotta do is break that shit up.
It's the way it's always done, and that's it.
And then in the article they put Seth Rogen's comment in here because apparently that guy's still relevant, saying I'd cut my mouth off if I were you. Then Padma Lakishmi, sorry if I pronounced your name, you're very beautiful, retweeted the very viral situation, commenting sweet and savory. Yeah, and basically he then gave an AM update the next day saying he felt fine and he's going to go get tested, and then I haven't heard anything since. So I'm not sure.
We're not talking about the rat shit either that he found in there.
No, which was like cooked into one of the squares. But yeah, he said basically that General Mills asked him for the for the pieces, and he said no, he's getting them privately tested. But moving right into the next part, I wanted to say that Cinnamon Toast Crunch Shrimp is on the menu at Shuck and Shack Oyster Bar, which, Ryan, I wanted your opinion on as a cook. I think this would be phenomenal.
I do too. I think that's a perfect appetizer for before you have your Doritos chicken parm or your Mountain Dew Alfredo.
But yeah, this delicious. For a few days, the social media world was aflutter with the latest viral meme. The guy who said he found some shrimp tails in a Smith's Roast Crunch. It was a perfect recipe for a viral moment. Weird, kind of gross, but with ample room for jokes because nobody actually got hurt. Without diving into the rabbit hole of nonsense that includes actress, which we're getting into next, as Shrimp Guy's wife, let's just say he caught a lot of attention. But the Shuck and Shack Oyster Bar, the 16-location seafood franchise based in North Carolina, was able to grab a quick sliver of that attention with a viral tie-in item of its own, Cinnamon Toast Crunch Shrimp. And I kind of want to make some. Like that
sounds really good, actually.
I was going to say, of all the crap that people are breading stuff with now, like there was pop-up Cheetos restaurants for all the rage a little while ago.
Yeah,
where they were doing Cheetos breaded like everything. And I will admit that if you crush down the flaming hot Cheetos and bread stuff with them, it's really, really good. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about
pork rinds.
Pork rinds?
Yeah. Here's Ryan missed this one, but he was invited to a WrestleMania party and he didn't show up. Dick.
No. I was a turning point.
But I took a pork loin, cut it into winglets so they looked like chicken wings, and coated it in pork rind.
Oh, okay.
So it was double pork.
That sounds delicious.
It was great, and it was not kosher.
Just so, Dwayne, if you're watching, you've now sent us like 10 comments that say nothing. So something might be wrong with your phone, brother.
I think if you look further up, I think he's having a stroke.
Oh, yeah, he left this comment. That's a winner right there. It sounds like somebody who's been kidnapped. Dwayne, if you've been kidnapped, I don't know how you're going to tell us.
Wrong twice if you're in Missouri.
Muscles from General Mills got to him. He knows too much about the shrimp tail.
We're going to bring him in with the shrimp for some testing. You know what I mean?
Captain Crunch, Sugar Bear, go get him.
The old Mill Mafia showed up.
Dig him.
He's going, where's Post cereal when you need him?
Grape nuts, please save me.
Yeah, though you'd never find shrimp tails and grape nuts.
You also don't find sexual satisfaction in grape nuts.
No, you don't.
Any woman that eats it looks like a fucking grandma. She could be 18 and still, oh, you eat grape nuts? Oh, your uterus is already dried out.
But they give good head.
Well, yeah, because she's a grandma.
So speaking of dried up, and a great segue into our next subject, I was going to talk about the fun fact that I tried to gloss over earlier, is to not destroy the surprise, is that the man who who actually shared the General Mills story, his wife happens to look like this. It's actually the husband of Danielle Fisher, more popularly known as Topanga, who, for everybody in my age bracket who knows from Boy Meets World, knows that Danielle Fishel and Ethan Suplee were probably the two greatest things to come out of that show. But I figured it'd be a great time to talk about our childhood crushes, something innocent and fun that we haven't really talked about or dove into on the show. And I thought that would be funny, especially because Topanga was high at the top of my list. I'm not going to lie.
So can I just talk for a second and say that Ryan and I are within 6 degrees of separation of Topanga.
Which means I'm less than 7.
Yes.
Yeah, we got to work some magic.
We
got to get her on the show.
Yeah, I'll try. But a show that a comedian from New York, Rich Williams, he's been on Comedy Central, MTV, did a lot of shit. He was a writer for the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Actually went on a date with Topanga.
Oh, yes, yes.
And I was so fucking jealous.
Yeah, me too. Dwayne commented and so sorry my phone was in my pocket and I was walking. I apologize. It's all right, Dwayne. It's good for the algorithm when people leave.
Is that actually you or the fucking
that could be the Mills Mafia.
GW. As GW knows, we do not negotiate with terrorists on the Under Quarantine show. If you have Dwayne, let him go. Otherwise, we're going to send the Vermont Comedy Outlaws on your ass.
Yeah, the Vermont Comedy Outlaws will battle the Captain Crunch crew.
We already dealt with Hickory being kidnapped. We won't stand for another.
No, once was one too many. But yeah, I assume most guys in the group, you guys all had a thing for Topanga. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, I gotta say, Hickory, you're hitting really close to home on this one, because this was the crush, and then was Salma Hayek. But this one was I don't know. I mean, I think she was supremely lovable. I don't know if it was the writing, just the fact that she was naturally beautiful. She was much older, too, than, like, anyone realized. Like, when she started shooting, and she was, like, by the time she was supposed to be, like, 20, she was in her, like, mid-30s or something like this.
Yeah.
Because the way it just went on forever. But I actually went out and bought a magazine that was like one of these Teen Crush magazines that had a thing, and I wrote her this letter. I was very, very young, and in the letter, I put a bunch of bullshit that I was like a successful model, and like, I'm like, I'm actually like 18 and have my own car, so that's cool. And like, I'm a model and like all this stuff, and like, and I remember like kind of like having my parents like maybe proofread or something, or somehow they read it or something. And my mom was like, these are all very superficial things that you're like writing in this love letter to Topanga on Boy Meets World, which aired every Friday, 8 p.m. TGI Friday.
I miss TGI Friday. Was it fair to say, Ryan, was she on your young days crush list?
Oh, I mean, let's say top 8. Number 1 through 7 for me. Charlene Sinclair from Dinosaurs.
Okay.
I had gone prehistoric on my wiener to Charlene Sinclair.
That's great. I don't feel so bad admitting that I had a serious thing for Lola Bunny for a little while.
Oh yeah, Smoke Show.
Yeah, dude. Especially the sexy Lola Bunny movements from Space Jam. Like, my God. Yeah, I hope she comes back in Space Jam too.
You don't know? Oh my God.
But that is a thing, right?
Yeah. No, she's back.
Yeah.
And you don't know about what happened to her?
Well, I have some fantasies about what happened to her, but I'm pretty sure that's not in canon.
Okay, so first off, let me say, my first celebrity crush was Gadget from the Rescue Rangers.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one.
God, she had hips for days. I don't care if she had a tail. But no, Lola Bunny, look at, like, they fucking flattened the bitch.
Oh, I have not seen.
Yeah, like she used to have like boobs.
She was beautiful, and you flattened her. What's the matter?
First off, I just wanted to put this up real quick.
Yes.
To make sure we were talking
Yeah,
about
Everyone
it.
knows exactly who GW Foley had a crush on, just so we can be clear.
Those
It's a
big ears.
cartoon house.
Yeah, so we got to pull up the new Lola.
Yeah, you need to. If you had a crush on her, like I didn't have a crush on her, but like there was definitely some flickage going on in the penal region.
What did they do? So I'm assuming this on the left was the original.
Yes.
And this is
What they reduced her to.
yeah, she looks like a softball player now.
Well, I mean, what the problem is like for just far too long, we just went with huge boobs. You know what I mean? And now they're like, probably have to dial that back.
Look how sexy this was back in the day.
Yeah.
I hope they made Marvin the Martian sexy in the new Space Jam. That's all I'm concerned about.
Oh, me too. That's
You know, I mean, you got to say like Kimberly, the Pink Ranger, right?
Yes.
I mean, she was hot, and
I had a bigger crush on the Yellow Ranger.
well,
see, I thought she was pretty too.
and then
I'm getting
Hillary
worked up
Swank
over here.
in the next Karate Kid, right?
Hillary Swank.
Yeah.
Right? Was that Hillary Swank?
Yeah.
But she kind of had that, like, you know, she was like, had that, you know, whole thing, kind of the bad girl kind of thing. But if you watch that movie now, that movie is so date rapey and you could never have that script. That script would never be made. There's a scene where 5 men are chasing her down the hallway, and she's like scared to death, and she's running from them, and they're like these like militia like guys. They're on top. They're like, "Come back here! You come back here!" And it's just like, what are these 5 guys planning on doing to this one girl if they caught her? Like, what you 5 guys is playing? You're gonna completely kick her fucking ass? Wow, way to go, boys! Like, you're like, what was your plan here? You know what I mean? And like, just like imagine like
not think this through.
No, they didn't think this through. You know what I mean? I'm like, so this next scene, we have a young girl. She's fearing for her life because 5 men are going to brutally beat her to death if they catch her. This movie's called The Next Karate Kid, and it's exactly what high school's like in America.
I also wanted to say that Jonathan Taylor Thomas was one of my
Absolutely
one of my 90s crushes.
He was unfair how good looking he was.
Yeah, it's not fair at all.
What's he look like now? How is he doing?
I just imagine he always looks like Simba. That's
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I don't want to demean the man's acting career, but
well, what kills me right now is this whole debate on the hair part thing, where it's like, is it cool to part your hair down the middle or part to the side, or how should you part your hair? Let me just tell you right now, Jonathan Taylor Thomas was one of the most beautiful men who ever lived, and he parted his hair right down the fucking middle. And for the rest of everybody who ever saw a hair part like that, it's like, you'll never get a part that good. You never will, because you ain't Brink. You know what I'm saying?
this is roughly what he looks like now.
Boy, did he go downhill.
That's Fred Armisen.
Yeah, I'm not okay, so
He's still a good-looking man.
yeah, he's not bad, but he's not.
Who was I looking at? William Dafoe?
That's the lead singer of the Bleachers.
Kevin was in here commenting. He said GW would have a crush on a gerbil.
I would.
That's a great one. He also commented in Punky Brewster.
Ooh, Punky Brewster. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Especially the later years before she had the titty reduction.
Oh, I forgot about that. Nick Waters said they were just trying to take her to Five Guys.
Yeah, he catches up here and he's like, "Hey, by the way, sorry about that. What are you doing Friday? You want to go on a date or
2 patties?"
Yeah, you look like you were really hungry after that jog. You need a burger.
Why are you running from us, man?
And then Dwayne Rhodes commented in John Stamos.
Oh yeah.
I hear you. He was hunky.
Yeah.
Hunky.
Can I just say, and I want to admit this, that the I can't remember which Hanson brother it was, but the one that played keyboard,
Zach.
No, Zach was the drummer.
Oh, he was? Okay. Yeah. That's the only one I know.
I only know that.
GW just sounds like an old whore over here. I mean, Ryan is like, Zach, yes, I remember him well. That wasn't Zach. Oh, what was it? Was it Bill? Or who was it? Anyhow.
Isaac was the oldest on guitar, but I can't remember the middle brother's name. Anyways, I thought he was a chick for the longest time. And I had the biggest crush on him because he had like the long hair and the cute features and sang like a girl. And turns out later, like when I was in my 20s, I dated a chick that also had a crush on him. And I was like, wow, this was meant to be. We have a crush on the same dude. This is amazing.
You had the same hall pass. And I love the fact that GW at one point just made the realization. He's like, wait a second. The Hanson brothers are all men?
Hey, it's called Hanson. They didn't.
Oh, they were handsome.
They're handsome. Hanson brothers.
I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who might be watching, but I'm 99% sure that both the Beautiful Assistant and I that Hanson's on the newest season of The Masked Singer. And I'm not going to give any hints as to who I think it is, but I'm like 99% positive that Hanson's doing it.
They had a song out a couple years ago that just fucking slapped.
They are one of the best, and I will say this full honesty, no joking, one of the best concerts I've seen. It's 3 incredibly talented brothers who have perfect vocal melodies together. They had a great show. They did half the show. Then 2 brothers go away. One does 2 songs. The other does 2 songs. They all have a little set break, but the show never stops. And then, it was just a great show. We saw them on.
They just hitting the pile of cocaine in the green room. And like, you do that, I'm out, and I'm back.
They also have a brewery in whatever state they're from. I can't remember.
But this is the problem. When you do something that's as successful as Mbop, it doesn't matter how talented or what you do after that. people just think bop. You know what I mean?
That's a great tune.
It's like Bobby.
Yeah.
Is it Bobby McFerrin? Is that his name? Who sings?
Don't worry, be happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, be happy. He's like award-winning composer, orchestrator, massive thing. He wrote like this incredibly just catchy, simple tune. Probably made more money on that, but it's hard to like break away from something when it's that successful. And it's like bop for the rest of their like existence, like overshadows all that success. Because bop, dippy dap a doo bop, do it all my doo bop, shooby dap I do was that was the soundtrack to me jerking off to Topanga. You know what I'm saying?
The callback. The last comment I wanted to read before we move on to the next subject is Dwayne said, "You guys are all chanting your inner Pepe Le Pew right now."
And if you move, I break all your bones.
I am the furthest from French ever, though. I just want to put that there.
Fuck the French.
Exactly. I've never dropped any of my guns, and they've all been fired. That's the story about the old. I don't know if you guys knew about the old French Revolution rifle. Trying to sell it, never fired, dropped only once. That's an old classic.
That's funny. I like that.
Nick said GW needs a new bottle. I agree.
I killed my bottle.
Well, that means it was a good show.
Yeah, it's been a good one. We're gonna move right into the next subject where I wanted to say the Suez Canal gets blocked by a giant shipping boat. It is finally free, so that's good. Some random notes from that was that one canal being blocked was costing $400 million an hour to the global trade of goods. Things are backlogged. What the fuck? That's all I can think. $400 million an hour was being blocked. And,
because that boat blocked the Suez Canal, that's why people were getting Cinnamon Toast Crunch with shrimp tails in it.
Yes. That very well could be, Ryan. I didn't put the two together, but that's a. So what we're going to do real quick is we're actually going to show you. This is a real video of. I'm going to stop screen and make sure I'm not sharing audio because I don't want to get a copyright strike on this. But what we have here is video of the boat before it went in to the canal. And we're going to play this real quick because the boat driving around in the bay drew a very interesting shape.
It certainly did, Hickory. And as you can see, clearly the winds were affecting it. They didn't know which way they're going. Bring it that way and back.
Yeah, this was a hell of a blowjob.
They're looping around back here. And these guys. And it's, at this time, all right, we're bringing it back around. Bring it back around.
Yep. And then she goes right up the canal here. Right up the canal. Blowing around a little. Bam! And so I brought up, that is the drawing of the completed piece of art that this boat drew. And this is a photo of where it finally landed. Very much just wedged into this canal. And it took like 6 or 7 days, I believe, because this was last March 24th. This video
was Bow Wow behind it.
It could be. That was just part of the meme. But yeah,
it begs the question: at what point was the captain saying "hard to scrotum port"? I mean, it just seems like. It's much more impressive than the last dick pic I saw someone draw in the middle of the bay. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this guy didn't screw up quite as badly as we all think.
It's one thing to draw a dick pic with a speedboat, but to do it with a 400,000 ton massive shipping vessel is pretty impressive.
Absolutely. And anyone who says, yeah, well, you got a jam now, and he says, yeah, I got jam now, but look at the dick I drew in the back.
It is a very, very, very nice dick pic. G-Dubs, what do you think about this situation?
I want to know, how hard is it to go straight in a boat? Like,
I don't know.
Well, you're on the water for so long and you're without female or male touch, you know.
like oh,
No, nobody's straight on the boat. Is that what you're trying to say, Ryan?
gay from
That's
the
what I
start.
heard, you know.
Well, I mean, was the guy like kind of whiskey drunk and kind of like trying to spell his name in the snow as he pees? You know, it's kind of like
It was Tommy Lee. He was steering that boat with his dick.
They're just like,
Was the guy who was driving the son of the Exxon Valdez?
it's a very good question. I'm not sure. I actually don't know too many details about this, other than it somehow affected Bitcoin, and like it tied up that much in the global trade that Bitcoin was affected. I don't know how. I didn't do much research on it because every time I read into Bitcoin, I just get pissed off that I didn't buy in 10 years ago when somebody said, hey, you should dump $1,000 on 10 Bitcoin. And so I try not to follow it too closely, thinking about how I could be retired and never work ever again if I had just listened to him. But,
well, you know, you wonder as a captain of a boat like that, when you run aground, how do you kind of respond when you come out of the boat? You know, do you try to just kind of play and go cool and just kind of come out and be like, fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That fucking turns a doozy, isn't it? Yeah. Good luck, boys.
There wasn't even a turn.
No.
Like, it's straight.
So we got some more photos. This is them with this little tiny baby excavator right here trying to dig. Like, that puts it in perspective as to how big this fucking ship is, right? And like that's a full-size excavator. That's not like a one from a sandbox at a local park. Like,
that ship is 1,300 feet long.
I mean, it is huge.
That's
like
unreal.
Those shipping containers look like little Legos, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's over 200 feet tall.
Like, that's how, like, that's a building. That's a shipping container behind it.
Oh, wow.
How would you like to be the guy behind them?
Yeah, for real.
That puts it in perspective. It's like when
Trying
you're
to get
standing
Cinnamon Toast Crunch to America. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they finally, I think this was them tugging it out today. But
you know, it's interesting because the thing is I think sometimes you realize when we see an incident like this, how ignorant we are as Americans, right? Because like my first thought is just like, get some big ass equipment in there. You know what I mean? What are you doing? Like, get out of the way. Let's lose it. It's like, no, Colin, they're in the middle of the desert. And now you've just screwed up your only way of actually probably bringing in any type of large equipment because this thing's broadside. And now the whole thing is just completely screwed. You know what I mean? So you just kind of realize, like, we always think there's a quick fix for everything. You know what I mean? It's just like, bring it in, do the thing. And then I almost said, like, what, the United States Navy doesn't have a way of ripping this friggin' boat out? You know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, give me a break. You know what I mean? But, you know, that's sometimes just how the perfect storm and how screwed up this thing is. That it was like in terms of days, it was like Kyle said, it's 400 million an hour. You know, it's billions of dollars a day.
Yeah, that one, like the aerial shot here where that's a tugboat next to it, and to realize that every single one of those bars you're seeing on here is a fucking shipping container.
Yeah,
a full-size trailer bed shipping container.
Which I believe are roughly 48 or 50 feet long, I think, and like something like that.
Like it just makes you realize how, like, that's people next to it. You can see there is in fact a person right there.
Wow.
And like that's how tall that. Yeah.
Well, and the crazy thing was,
incredible.
I heard that they were trying to relieve it uses water for ballast, and the amount of water they had was insane to keep the ballast up for the top. So they were trying to relieve some of that weight to, you know, try to bring it up a little bit. But if they relieve too much of the ballast, it'd tip over. So yeah, it was I think a much more crazy thing. But I mean, you know that this guy ends up like introducing himself at cocktail parties in the future, and they're like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Oh, what's my name? Did you ever hear about the boat that turned sideways and screwed up $50 billion in the supply chain? That was me."
A big deal.
So we got one more subject to go over. We're going to talk about real quick. The premise of vaccine passports. Yeah, sounds totally legit. I find this ironic because this is what people were saying on the conspiracy websites over a year ago when this whole thing started. But I do have an article pulled up. We've got it from CNN. So I'm not going to say it's a good article, but I like to use sources that normies think are good. So we're going to go with CNN here. We got the COVID vaccine passport. The Biden administration helps develop standards to prove vaccination. And basically, they are working on an app that would go on your phone that would be scanned. The saving grace for this, because it sounds like a forced vaccination program to me, which as a guy who's not anti-vax by any stance, I don't like the idea of forcing stuff on people. Is that
Especially sex?
Yeah. Basically they said it will also do negative COVID tests. So like whenever you got a negative COVID test, it would update on your thing. Said governments around the world may seek proof of vaccination before foreigners can enter their borders again. Understood. The administration's plans were first reported by the Washington Post. The Biden administration previously said the federal government should not be involved in efforts to create a vaccine passport system to verify that people have been vaccinated. But the Post, citing 5 officials who spoke on the condition anonymity, because that seems super trustworthy, reported the effort has been driven largely by arms of the Department of Health and Human Services, including an office devoted to health information technology. So they're working on... Basically, you'll have this cute little app on your phone that'll have a QR code. What do you guys think? You think that's my personal stance was I get a little bit nervous whenever the government wants me to, have a brand on my cell phone that says that I've done something. You guys think it's weird?
I agree. I'm a little apprehensive about it. We'll see when it happens. It happens.
The one thing that I thought I meant to mention this earlier, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but this ties into it. So earlier this week, Bloomberg releases this article, right? And the article says, prepare for a spending spree that rivals the 1920s, right? And they say a post-pandemic, post-vaccinated America means a spending spree in the roaring 20s, right? And people have said, you had the 1918 Spanish flu, then you had the roaring 20s, right? And then, so I'm like, oh, that's cool. Bloomberg says that there's going to be this huge thing, blah, blah, blah. 2 days later, Bloomberg posts another article that says, prepare for permanent pandemic. What the hell are you talking about? A permanent pandemic. The term pandemic, I don't know if this is correct or not, but I believe by definition means a period in time that a virus is affecting people. And it says, because of this, don't expect for normalcy, don't expect a return, don't expect for the vaccine to help anything, and don't expect for this pandemic to ever end. Now, I don't know who this person is who wrote this ridiculous article. It upset me this morning because it was just like the point of the vaccine, if the health is showing right now, the reports are showing that this is actually helping people not spread this disease, stop this virus in its tracks, then isn't that point of the vaccine? At certain point, I have never seen such a debauched shit show of information in the history of this planet as what has been presented with this virus and this global pandemic. It is unacceptable, it's unexcusable, it's disgusting. The fact that medical professionals can't explain to any of us, the general public, whether or not a vaccination helps prevent the spread of this disease or not, or virus or not. No one even knows. They say, oh, we'll take the vaccine. Okay, so then I can go out. Well, no, you still have to wear the mask and you still can't do anything. Then why am I getting the vaccine? You know what I mean? The point of the vaccination is to become vaccinized so you don't have to worry about this virus. So that's what I don't understand about any of this. And as far as the passport goes and entering country, I know that there was a lot of conspiracy around that. I saw that as just a natural thing. When you have something like Brazil, where you have these countries that are really getting hit hard, and they are able to bring that number down, they're not going to want people to come in and reinfect or redo whatever. So I feel like the writing's on the wall for international travel that you will have to be vaccinated. As far as whether or not we demand that you have to be vaccinated in the country domestically, I think is, because we don't really have a say if China says to enter that those are vaccinations. There have been many vaccinations over the years that you've had to have requirements to visit parts of the world that you've never been exposed to those viruses that exist there, all Africa and et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't know if really that's actually that different than things that we've dealt with in the past. But right now, with the speed of it and the confusion of it and the disinformation, the conspiracy theories, and the lack of a true communication to the people of what the hell's going on has left everybody just like, what's going on?
Yeah, I would agree. I don't disagree with it internationally, I think, but within domestically, and they're talking about this isn't going to be just for like traveling. This is going to be like something that like concert venues and restaurants and other businesses will be allowed to say, hey, show me your papers before you enter the building. And that scares me mostly because I think and my first thought was, and G-Dubs or Ryan, chime in and tell me I'm fucking wrong. This seemed like a HIPAA violation to the Health and Patients Protection Act or whatever. Well, basically, it felt like a violation of HIPAA to tell somebody, hey, you have to have gotten this medical treatment before you can enter our premises.
It's what's the difference between saying, all right, you need to have a vasectomy in order to enter this whorehouse.
You mean I get it?
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to tell me.
It's a very good, I like that.
But this is another thing, again, that it just doesn't make sense, is the fact is it's like there are two paths to immunity, right? For herd immunity or whatever. Either you have vaccination or you get the disease, the virus, you build the antibodies to it, and you naturally have the antibodies to this virus. Isn't it a logical progression that if one remains unvaccinated indefinitely, that they'll probably, if this thing continues to exist, will have the virus, either die, get sick, deal with long-term illnesses, or build an immunity to it, in which case we're that much closer to herd immunity. So it's like one of those things where I don't really understand. It's like, if this is the goal, the end goal, and I get that, and then you have the point of the vaccination is to protect the most vulnerable, right? Well, the most vulnerable in this country, pretty much almost across this entire country, are going to be able to have this by May. So if you feel like if you got this virus, it could kill you, and you wanted the vaccination, you can get that. And now in New York and Vermont and all over the country. So they really, I feel like the government's, the way that they've shown kind of this inept quality to communicate information in a way that's direct and clear to the people, it's very obvious that this country no longer has, if nothing else, the ability to do that.
And one of the things that, and Thad kind of talks about it in the comments, and I agree with him fully, is that what they're kind of worrying about is getting everything done before it mutates, which if you look at like Great Britain, where it already has, and I believe they found some cases in the Pacific Northwest where it's has already mutated in the United States.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 different strands now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
but then they say the science that I read today was a U.S. study that said this vaccine is very good against all the mutations.
Yep.
So they should show that it's proving well against the mutation. So it's like, what the hell is the conclusion? And what I don't understand is the idea of saying something like we've seen for one entire year. They'll say something, 2 days later, they say something else. 2 days later, they say something else. To me, I believe, and I'm no academic, but I believe in having a conclusion of what you are talking about and being articulate about conveying the information at hand. If you need 2 more days to say, listen, we don't know what's going on, and we will tell you in a week or a month, whenever we have information that we can tell you and be certain of. But we're not going to say, listen, this thing, this mutation could be terrible. This might be terrible. The vaccine we have might not even work. Guess what? It works. 2 days later, we don't know if it works. Might not work. We don't know.
Right.
Figure out what the hell's going on and report back to us. That's why we pay the checks to you to figure out and do your job, and then tell us what needed us to do. And then if that was that, I think we could all work together on this. But the problem is you have the left saying one thing, the right saying one thing, conspiracy saying this thing, this saying this thing, and nobody knows what the hell's going on.
Thaddeus comments transparency in government.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful, Thad. I actually made a comment.
Representation of taxation. Yeah.
A callback to the early show. We were talking about the gun thing. I actually left a comment on somebody's post the other day about, being scared of guns and this and that. I'm like, hey, I got this revolutionary idea, guys. How about we make murder illegal, and then people will stop murdering each other? And a friend of mine commented back, hey, stop thinking outside of the box. And, dude, I'm sorry. I'm kind of a fucking visionary. I wanted to read a couple comments because we got some really good ones in here. Dwayne had said, I used to do certain things. The vaccine passport is just the start. Face eyeball recognition. Let's go down the Jessica rabbit hole. I like how you said that together, my friend. I agree. That was part of my concern, was that once you have this on your phone, there's no reason not to have it and to add other features to it too. Because as if we know anything about our government as it currently sits, things that get added on in emergency situations tend to stay there. Much like the FBI. The FBI was created to check out one thing, and now it is a giant thing. He said, Dwayne said this, Boston Dynamics, the robots they made dancing to look cool and shit, those are going to be our new police officers, which might be good because, and then we can truly defund the police because they just run on electricity. It says it's a new way of life. Appy, the big words, sociology, anthropology, etc. All the sci-fi movies. Do we think the Jetsons and Star Trek would be real? We did have lasers on dolphins. No bullshit. I would like to think that we are someday going to be living in that Star Trek post-scarcity world. But,
well, you know that the CEO of Motorola didn't know how to take telecommunication, and he came home frustrated, and he turned on Star Trek, and he realized when he talked to the thing, he said, Scotty, beam me in, that he just had the ability to talk from any place. And he realized the future of telecommunication was in a device that you could just communicate with from any place. And that's where he invented the cellular device. The cellular phone was completely inspired by Star Trek and Captain Kirk's ability to just report back while on a planet remotely.
So was the tablet, actually, or the touch screen.
Oh, really?
If you go back and look, you'll actually see in a couple episodes they're using a touch screen, like on like what we think of as just a tablet or an iPad now, but at the time that was absolutely crazy.
There are many cases of sci-fi inspiring modern inventions.
Let's see. We got another comment. Dwayne says the left and right are two wings of the bird. The 8 Ivy League institutions control our politics. It costs $70,000 for one semester. That financial debt is a new financial chain that controls citizens to make us make different decisions. He says, I'm from Manhattan. I can tell you some freaky deaky shit. I agree. There's a lot of concerning facts about that, Dwayne. Like the fact that 6 companies own almost every news outlet in the U.S.
Well, really, one family. What's it? Bergdorf.
The Bilderberg.
No, the guy who owns it. It's Bergdorf Madoff. Last name, I think, is it?
I don't know. I did see a crazy post the other day talking about how the only 3 conservative-leaning news outlets in the U.S. are pretty much Fox News, the New York Post and the Wall Street Journal opinion section are all.
Don't forget Nickelodeon news.
Those are all owned by the
one
same
guy.
Those are all owned by the same guy. That's that Bernie. It's Murdoch Madoff.
Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
What is
Bernie Madoff doesn't know.
Bernie
He's
Madoff.
in prison.
No, Bernie Madoff's in prison. This guy's named Murdoch.
Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch.
What is it?
Oh,
Rupert Murdoch.
yeah.
Rupert
Duke,
Murdoch.
Duke,
Duke Mulberry.
Duke
Yeah,
Mulberry.
thank you.
Oh, you sexy bitch.
Yeah, he's a fucking sexy looking dude. Especially
I
in
didn't
that
realize
photo.
you
That's
watched
artsy
the
as shit.
show.
Yeah.
Hi, Duke.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Duke.
But there was a documentary coming out on him recently, and he wasn't really on my radar. But they showed that, he owns the Wall Street Journal,
He owns Fox.
Fox.
Yeah.
He owns a massive Australia, UK.
Oh yeah, he owns Sky News in Australia.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the comment was, hey, those are the only 3 in the U.S. that are conservative leaning. What if that guy gets taken out, and then every single outlet has the exact same narrative, and you no longer have sparring ideas?
The thing is, I just don't think that'll happen, only because we do have, for lack of a better word, a 2-party system. And so it's not in anyone's, I don't think it's anyone's, I just watched The Dark Knight the other day. And, it's like when the Joker says to Batman, he says, you want to kill me? He goes, I want to kill you. I can't live without you. You know what I mean? And that's really what you got, is whether or not the right thinks that the lefts are demons, or the left thinks the right's demons. It doesn't play well if you don't have someone to.
Close. The old colloquial phrase is that the right thinks the left is misguided. The left thinks the right is evil. It's like the colloquial. And I mean, that's obviously not accurate for everybody, but it sums it up.
Yeah, you need a villain.
Yeah. Let's see. Dwayne said Minority Report where the spider scanned his pupil. Well, that's out. New cell phones. It's retinal scanners on cell phones now. That's crazy. Berdoff Madoff with a shitload of money. Check out the first Rothschild. News Corps. Yeah. Rupert sold everything but News Corps. Duke says hello all. Duke, thanks for joining us.
Hello, Duke.
Dwayne says documentary The 1% on Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah,
check that out at some point. Duke Mulberry said watched Outfoxed, good documentary about him. I'll have to check that one out too. Last one said, why do you think cancel culture is big? Can't be a free thinking, sarcastic comedian pushing boundaries. It's not cool anymore. I agree. We live in an age of self censorship, Dwayne. Where
I've never been cool, so
no, me neither. I do some cool stuff, but I've never claimed to be cool.
I would just like to talk to that point a bit, because I've seen comedy this year. Right now, I'm talking about the Woolen Mill is going to start producing in New York City again, and as soon as May, and maybe as soon as April, but it's on the radar. But in 15 years, I've watched New York comedy change, and this is just me, but I feel like we were closer when we were able to make fun of each other, when we weren't so afraid to offend, where we were able to say that the idiosyncrasies or the things that were comical about our nature. It might not today. It seems completely arrogant and ridiculous for anybody to make fun of their super of their apartment building who might be Mexican. But anybody who had a super who was Mexican and they saw the things that they did, that's funny. And it was things that we recognized as things that were universal that we all enjoyed. It wasn't putting someone down. It was making fun of the fact that something that we all share in common is our own funny things. And I feel like we were closer then when we felt like we could make fun of each other, than when we have to be really afraid of offending each other over every single thing. Sometimes when things hurt, they hurt because there's a truth to it. And the truth is, something that's universal. And so I feel like I don't know why it's gone the way it is. There's certain things we don't want to be ignorant. We don't want to propagate ignorance at all.
Oh, We lost Collen and not Ryan.
I was gonna say I'm close. I was looking for a cord and trying not to make sudden movements.
Okay, we're pretty much at the end anyways. We actually ran a bunch over, and this is gonna be like an hour and a half long episode, but it's been awesome. Thank you for joining us, Ryan.
Hey, thank you guys.
I did want to comment on this comment because I thought it was really funny and sad that Thaddeus commented, and he said it's getting sad that comedians are more trusted than journalists. And I agree. That's fucking depressing.
Well,
that's where we're at. And that some comedians have actually gone on to be good journalists now. Colin's back. Okay.
Hey, sorry about that, guys. A little technical difficulty. Well, like I always say, I get my news every week right here on the Hickory is Drunken Under Quarantine.
And that's why I was saying, Colin, Thad commented and said it's getting sad that comedians are more trusted than journalists.
Hey, this is where I get my news.
I'm like, yeah, dude, it took me an entire week to make sure that that dick that the boat drew was real because I didn't want to put it on the show only for it to be a troll and for me to get played. So yeah, I do some
back record research. Show the guy drew a massive dick right before he crashed the boat.
I do some research because I don't want to be presenting false information, as funny as it could be, and we're always very clear about that. Ryan, do you have anything you need? You want to get off your chest? Anything you felt like you missed out on an opportunity to talk about?
Yeah, well, I got a little battery left. I'd just like to say I need to see more boat strong dicks, and shout out to Topanga's husband.
Yeah, jealous of that guy. See, I think the Trump boat rallies would have been a lot better if they all just drew giant dicks out in the ocean.
You know, the bottom line is this guy, he's married to Topanga. I hope he eats a whole fucking bag of shrimp tails. You know what I mean? Fucking guy. I hope this guy has shrimp tails in his cereal every time he has cereal.
I thought you were going to say dicks. Oh, that was shrimp tails. Oh, man. G-Dubs, you got anything you want to get out there?
First off, I want to say I love Ryan Kenyon.
I love you.
I love Ryan too.
And
I love you all.
And yes, I love you all. I want to give a shout out to Nick Waters, who we don't shout out enough, but he watches every fucking week and comments and I don't know if he's a good guy or not. I hope he is. But thank you for watching, Nick.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the support, the comments, the love, and
Tyler Johnson coming in with a new one. I don't even know Tyler.
Oh, no, me neither. He said, hate to flush a couple of twisteds. What's Keepy? Does anybody know?
I have no.
Oh, that's my nickname, Kippy.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay. Colin, anything you want to say before we get on out of here?
No. We've been saying it for 48 shows, but there is some exciting developments on the way.
Yes, there is.
Stay tuned to show 49 and 50 and 52. We're coming in. Season 1 of the Hickory, the Drunken Under Quarantine show. As you guys just said, thank you to everybody who tunes in here every week, leaves comments. You guys make this show worthwhile. And so keep tuning in. We got a lot of fun stuff in the pipeline. And see you guys, same place, same time next week.
Nick said it makes my Monday not so bad watching his F up. You guys are. Thank you, Nick. We appreciate it. Dwayne Rhodes says one of my favorite comedic circle jerks, Steve Martin lives on. Thank you. We really appreciate that. And thank you guys. Thanks everybody for joining us. This is awesome. I am, of course,
I love you guys.
I love you guys.
I love you guys.
This is like a Zoom hug. Like I wish if I was hugging right now, there'd be so much beard right now just rubbing around. Unbelievable.
I want to think if we were all hugging, I'd be the Cuomo just holding somebody's head in my hands, like all creepy. But that's all we got for this one. Please follow GW Foley at Foley Kills on the Instagrams, the parlors, and on Adam is a friend on Facebook. He's always looking for friends. Follow Ryan Kenyon at Old Ryan Kenyon on Instagram and Facebook. And anywhere else, Ryan?
Nope.
But
I don't
follow
think
his
so.
Instagram because he makes absolutely hysterical short videos and they're great. Follow Collen at Collen D on Facebook, Instagram, and at Woolen Mill Comedy on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, I am Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming. You can find me at Hickory TDAU on the Facebooks, the Parlors, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, where I've been posting some bad beer reviews. Sunday and Thursday are Hickory drinks, and I review stuff very poorly. Not that the products are poor, the reviews are, because bad reviews is what I do. That's all we got on this one. We will be back next week with Will Purpura on episode 49. And Mr. Kenyon, I look forward to seeing you at the end of the month for a very special episode 52.
Absolutely.
We will lay.
Will it be too delicious? Question mark.
It could very well be too delicious, and we are going to lay down season 1 with lots of passion. And get right into season 2. So thank you guys for joining us. Of course, I'm Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming, signing out for GW Foley, Collen Doyle, and Ryan Kenyon. We will see you all next week back with Will Purpura for episode 49. Holy shit. I am Hickory the Drunken Underwhelming. Thank you guys for joining us. And please remember to stay safe, stay drunk, stay underwhelming, but most importantly in these trying times, stay sane and don't hate your fucking neighbor. We'll see you guys next time. Oh, I had a cool little